everyone, and welcome back to the Fearless and Fabulous podcast. I am your host and creator, Melanie Robinson. I am also the reigning Ms. Voluptuous International, and today I've got another amazing queen from the great state of Florida. And everyone, this is the woman who knows how to live her life fearless and fabulous. Please meet the beautiful Katrina. Say hi, Katrina.
Hello, everyone. Hello, and thank you so much for having me on your podcast. Because, girl, you know I love you to death.
Right back at you. And it has been a hot minute since you and I have actually talked. Like we
Yeah,
see each other online and we chat, but this has been like the first we've actually had a discussion in a few years.
yeah.
But first, before we get into all of that, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what makes Katrina Katrina?
Well, I'm Katrina Spagnoletti. I have a company called Just Sweet. It is a skincare line. I based it around women over a certain age, but everyone can use it because I think that, you have to prepare your skin for getting, older, putting those numbers on. So I wanted to do that, and I launched it at 60 years old. So I'm really proud of myself. I think this is one of the proudest moments I've had is to be 60 years old and to actually launch something that I created myself. So I'm really happy about that. I'm currently, and I just got crowned, Mrs. Florida Classic Universe 2025, 2026. So that right there, I'm trying to accomplish a lot of things in my 60s because I'm thinking life is going to be so long. I need things to like fill my day. But I really love pageantry. So I'm so honored to be Mrs. Florida Classic Universe. I am also an author of What My Mother Never Knew. It's a book on how I heal from childhood trauma. I That is my platform. Platform is called Voices because I want to educate people on how to use their voice to start to heal. There's 70% of children go through some type of trauma, whether it's physical, mental, sexual, or even seeing your parents argue or even being bullied. And I want those adults who came from that, but I also want children to understand that we do have a voice. Steve Jobs once said, the most powerful person in the room is the storyteller. I didn't know it that at a young age that I had this thing called power. It's called my voice, that I was able to tell people what was going on with me. And it really was a destructive type of lifestyle until I got maybe 55 years old when I started writing my book and I
Mhm.
told everyone what happened to me. My husband first. I told him what happened to me, and that was the first time I ever did that. And I felt so powerful. It was so emotional, and it just I felt free. And that's what I want everyone to feel is feel free, not have that on your back. Even children, we all have a voice. That's something we have in common.
Absolutely. And first and foremost, congratulations on your new title. That's
Thank
amazing. And the
you.
launch of your skincare line. And oh, she's a pretty crown. She's very pretty. We
She's
like.
beautiful. We love our crowns, don't we, as queens?
Yes, we do. We love the shiny things. And I really want to commend you for talking about how important it is to share our stories and to use our voices. I firmly believe that we can be freed from our trauma by sharing our stories. And the fact that you wrote a book about that takes such courage and fearlessness in order to do that. And I want to ask you this. I want to start there first. Like, what gave you the courage and the power to actually put those words on paper and share that story so publicly?
Well, that this book was in the making, and let me take it down. It was in the making. Sorry about that. It was in the making for 10 years. I remember I wanted to tell my story. I wanted to write a book, and I just couldn't. Like the depression creeped in. I didn't want to face those two little girls, the 5-year-old and the 15-year-old. I didn't want to face those two little girls, and basically, I was a coward in a good sense.
Mhm.
I just could not bring myself to like tell their story because of shame, because of doubt from other people. Family is, I've learned a lot about my family through this process that, you're not, your story may not be accepted, especially if it's a family member.
Yeah.
And I was also afraid because I didn't know how my mother would react if she would be angry because of that, because it was my stepfather at 15 years old who was abusing me, and it was my uncle at the age of 5. So through all that and writing the story, I just couldn't do it. Well, COVID hit us. It hit us hard. And
Yeah.
when we were told to stay home, um, I knew what that might do to me. A quick story. At age 15, I wanted to give up on myself. And I thought the best solution was to, end this, to end every day not knowing what's going to happen to me. And every time I tell the story, it's like tunnel vision of me walking to the cabinet, getting the pills, swallowing them, and waking up the next day going, what in the world? Why is this universe putting me through this? I'm a 15-year-old child who I can't cope with this. But in the same breath, I had a vision that I was standing in front of an audience in a red suit. I didn't know what I was saying or why I was there. But at 15 years old, I thought it was going to be famous. They gave me a goal. I thought it was going to be this famous girl. So at that point, I understood my purpose in life. And that's very important to have a purpose, especially when you live with depression. And that's something
Yeah.
that you have to have something going every moment. And that's probably why I've dipped my toe into everything that I've dipped my toe into. But at the age of 55, 56, when I won my first title, I wore a red dress and I went into the judge's room and I told my story. I told my story, and that day I was crowned Mrs. Florida American 2020, the first Black woman to ever be crowned on that stage in almost 40 years, the
Yeah.
oldest woman to
Yes.
be on that stage because I wasn't competing with women my age. I was competing with women 20, 30 years my junior. And to walk away and know that everything that I work myself up to, being a kind person, a giving person, someone who forgives, someone who loves, someone who's passionate about life. I didn't know that that moment at 15 and that premonition at 15 would have led me to what it led me to. And then sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Pageantry gave me the confidence to do everything else. So this book was just the tip of the iceberg. Being able to be confident enough to know that you are a winner, like you are a queen, you are a leader in your community. You just have to continue to try and just put yourself out there
Yeah.
and see what happens. And when you put yourself out there, you might not always win,
Yeah.
but you tried. And that's the
Mhm.
most that creates confidence, so much confidence, because a lot of people think it just comes naturally. It doesn't. You have to work for confidence. This world is tearing us down right now.
Yeah.
We got to struggle every single day to be confident, to see the things that are on social media and the things that people say. It's a very difficult time right now, and we have to continue to, focus ourselves on good things so that we can continue to keep that confidence and build it.
And I have a saying that difficult situations will reveal who you really are.
Oh, definitely.
And the fact that even at one of your lowest points in your life, when you thought about potentially checking out,
Mhm.
that when that moment you had that vision at the same time of
Yeah,
what else could be out there. And that's just so powerful, Katrina,
thank you.
that you had that vision and you held on to it. And then when you went into the judge's room, the eldest competitor at
Mhm.
this competition, and just told your story. That just gives me chills. That gives me chills because that is really a full circle moment.
Yeah.
from
And
that.
I didn't realize that I wore that red dress that day and that I won that day in a red dress because red was a trigger color to me.
Mm,
That was my trigger color. I
wow.
hate the color red. And it's because it symbolizes the darkest day of my life.
Mm.
And my husband saw that dress and his eyes just went so wide. And he said, "This is what you need to wear. You've got to wear that dress." And because two coaches told me not to wear it red. They said you have a very powerful personality, you'll overwhelm the judges. But one thing coming from trauma, you trust pretty much no one until they give you a reason to trust them. I trust my husband with everything, and he's very competitive. So if he said wear that red dress, I was going to wear that red dress. And as a matter of fact, when I walked right as I walked through the door in that red dress, Randy Jones, he is the one of the members of the Village People,
What?
saw me, and he was one of my judges, saw me, and he was like, "Oh my God, I love that red dress, honey." Let me tell you how confident I was after one of the people that got me through life as a teenager, YMCA,
Yeah, right?
really there telling me that I was just so incredible in a trigger color. It was a remarkable moment. And we're friends even till today.
You know, things just, this universe does some really interesting things, doesn't it?
Oh my goodness. I totally believe in the universe and what it can do for us. But I also believe that you have to be kind and you have to be good. And I just can't see a lot of rewards, even though there's some out there, a lot of rewards when you are just not a good person
Hmm.
because your whole being is dark.
Yeah.
That day I decided in order for me to get to my goal, I have to be kind. I have to be good. I have to be a leader. I have to be confident. And those are things that I worked on that day, little by little, step by
Yeah.
step. And I think that's the key to winning right there.
That's it. That's it right there. And, I identify with your story so much because there's a parallel to mine as well.
Mhm.
I was very fearful of aging because that's the message I got from my mother and her mother. And for me, entering my 50s was the scary age. And for me, pageantry helped me to confront that fear and to come through it and to understand that I am so much more than a number. Number means nothing. It's who I am developing as a person. So that's what I think pageantry can offer for women and just finding who they really are and what stories they want to tell.
I think a lot of women don't really understand the true essence of pageantry. They think it's just shiny gowns and a shiny
Hmm.
crown. This past weekend, we did, me and my sister queens from the Mrs. Florida Universe organization. We went to Exclusive Hive. They did a fashion show, and what they do is they raise money for adults, disabled adults who, just so that they can build land in a community so that they can provide housing. And I remember the orchestrator of the organization, Tanya, had said afterwards, she said, "I did not know who you guys were until I read your bios." And I said to her, "If you ever see one of these on the head of a woman, I guarantee she is probably one of the most accomplished women you would ever meet in your life."
Facts.
And I surround myself with queens just because I know if I sit down with a queen, she is going to be someone I can learn from, someone who is a leader in her community, and someone who is compassionate. And
Mm.
that's my kind of queen.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you just got crowned, your new title. Congratulations again. And the thing is, though, I thought you were done competing. What made you decide to step back in?
Honey, I thought I was finished competing too. I actually did want to do, I just, I'm just I'm a masochist sometimes. I wanted to do Miss Florida USA. I really wanted to step on that stage because it is one of the largest stages. And because
Hmm.
they lifted the age requirements, I was like, girl, you got this. You got this. And the director was one of my judges when I won Florida. And her and I have a huge respect for each other. We really
Hmm.
do. And because of my age, we have that because when she had asked me, what makes you unique? I said, as you can read in my bio, I'm 56 years old, and she fell on the floor. She could not believe I was 56 coming into that room. And she's a phenomenal and dynamic woman. So I really respect her, and I wanted to get on that stage. But then I was like, I really want to go behind the scenes and get on a committee. But when Amber Euler, the Mrs. Universe USA, when she called me up and was like, I would love for you to be one of my queens. I was like, okay, I trust this woman and I know she's going to really guide me and take care of me. Now I will be competing again. So this time I was actually appointed. But when we go in September, I will be going into New York and competing for Mrs. Classic Universe. And
Ah.
that's where I never wanted to go before, but I've never had a national title. I've had an international title, as you know, Mrs. Queen of the World. Had the opportunity to be flown to Mumbai, India, and represent my title and help launch the India Queen of the World, which was such an incredible and very unique experience for
Yeah.
Mrs. in pageants. That doesn't
Right.
happen all the time.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't happen at all. So that was a great opportunity for me and gave me room to grow even more. But this leads to the Mrs. Universe, and that is now in the Philippines this year. They literally are an international title, a title pageant. They actually have women. Last year, they had 123 women competing
Holy
in
cow.
where was it? I can't remember what country it was, but it looks like Miss Universe. And
Hmm.
everything that they do is just top notch. So if I win my national title as Mrs. Classic Universe, I will be heading over to a different country in 2026 to compete with probably over 100 Mrs. Married Women
Wow.
for the Mrs. Universe um, title. So I'm excited about all this.
So I have to ask you this because, we know, and anyone who's ever competed in pageants, just the type of work that
Mhm.
has to be done behind the scenes. Uh, so since it's been a minute since
Mhm.
you've competed, what are you doing to get yourself ready, your mindset? Like, what have you been focusing on?
Okay, this is such a great question, especially when we're focusing on women over 40. Me being 60, in less than a month and a half, I will be turning 61 years old. One of the biggest struggles uh, is losing weight because girlfriend don't have her body, a pageant body. She's probably about 20 pounds away from her pageant body. Now, I'm not trying to get there anymore. I don't think I'm going to try that hard to get there, but I do want to get to a place where, there is some form and
Hmm.
that I can wow the judges because we understand society. I mean, you advocate for positive body image, and we know, and in pageantry, I know. And even though I'm in an arena where yes, it's going to be 55 and up, and we can relax a little bit because we're 55. We're not trying to get a man anymore. But in the same breath, I want to make sure that I'm prepared just in case something sneaks my way. So I go to the gym. Unfortunately, my husband, he's my partner, but he hurt his back. So we
Oh
haven't been in
no.
the gym in 2 weeks, going on 3 weeks. But I do walk like at least 4 to 8 miles a day because I know my body. I know what works for my body. I
Hmm.
know what's going to make me a confident weight and how to get there. So I do walk. I think it's a great exercise. Eating is absolutely essential. The way you eat, I eat as clean as I possibly can. I do intermittent fasting from Monday to Thursday, but I eat very well. I come from a personal trainer background, so I understand that as I get older, there's certain limits not to hurt myself.
Yeah,
But of course, speaking, being able to do mock interviews like interviews, that is my secret to winning an interview is setting up as many interviews as I possibly can to discuss my platform, to discuss me, so that when I get into the room, it's all questions I've already asked and I'm very confident
exactly.
about it. But the on-stage question is my weakness. And
Mm.
luckily, we have a director, and Amber Euler is also our director. She has gotten us up on stage, whether we like it or not, and asked us questions that are so profound. And we are videotaping every chance we get to make sure that when we go on stage and we get that top five, that we were gonna be prepared. And I really love that. So between interview skills, on stage question, and making sure that I get into the gym, that's my preparation. And it's not an easy task, but it also builds up my confidence as well. So
Yeah.
walking into New York is gonna be pretty easy because we're 8 weeks out. So I'm very happy to be a part of this organization and having a director that really wants to push us as a team,
Hmm.
because we'll all be going as a team as well, as a team to work on what our weaknesses are and what our strengths are.
That's so exciting.
Yeah,
And it sounds like you have a great support system,
absolutely.
and that's not very common.
No, it's not.
A lot of times, I'm sure you're aware, a lot of times contestants are kind of on their own. They're on their own island. They have to find coaches. Sometimes they have to just go off based what they see when they videotape themselves. So it's rare when you have a director that helps you as a team to bring your very best selves to a national level. So that is amazing that you have that opportunity.
It really is, and I've been in a situation where I didn't have support from my organization, and not necessarily the support that I want. I think they supported me, but I did have and we can bring this up as well if we're going to be transparent. Sometimes our queen sisters will go against you.
Hmm.
And that was the situation that I was in. And I had amazing Queen Sisters, the title beforehand, and I have amazing Queen Sisters now. But the first crown that was placed on my head, that was a very difficult time for me. I felt so alone and so outcasted. And that a lot of people understand this, that if you're going through that and you go to a nationals, then pretty much if you are not strong enough and you don't understand, you're not gonna place. And I didn't place the top 15. So many people were like, what is going on? I didn't want to like say anything at that point. But yeah, I use my voice now to let people know, be prepared, because even your queen sisters could be some of your biggest competitors,
Yeah.
and they could be your biggest like non-supporters. I've had amazing queen sisters who were absolutely just everything to me. And I have queen sisters now that I just adore 180%. I really do.
That's fantastic. And I just want to piggyback a little bit what you were just saying. The thing is that what I've discovered through pageantry, it's no different than, real life in
It
terms of
really isn't. It isn't.
there's always going to be people who they don't really support you. They're okay with you as long as you don't surpass them. But soon as you do, then the true colors come out. They don't like that. They don't want to feel like they are less than, but that's on them. That's
Yeah,
got nothing to do with you.
yeah,
So I think that's what that situation is. Those queens are just reflecting something within themselves
yeah.
that they're not happy about.
There's this amazing book, and I think this is part of where my confidence really started to build, to understand other people, because people think you have to do the work on yourself. No, it's understanding other people and what their perception is when it comes to what they say to you. The
Mhm.
Four Agreements is such an amazing book. It really explains that however someone grows up, they bring that baggage right there. Their minds are constructed by the ideas that their parents had, the things that they saw in their family, the ideas that their friends have as little children growing up, if they were bullied, if they were the prom king, queen,
Hmm.
if they saw working parents who worked hard, if they went through trauma, so many of that is projected onto you,
Yes.
and some people just don't come out of it with a positive attitude. And when they say misery loves company, people who are not healed, even if you're healed 50%, you still got that baggage behind.
Yeah.
But people who are not healed will project off what happened to them. I was the complete opposite. And as soon as I started getting healed and feeling better about myself and building that confidence, I don't judge. I don't judge, but I stand up for myself. I really stand up for I could be the sweetest person in the world, as you know.
Yeah.
There's another side of Katrina that you really don't want to see. And people get really surprised by that because it very rarely does it happen now. When I wasn't healed, I think I was still a nice person, but anything could tick me off.
Hmm.
Anything could make me angry. Any trigger could be there. But as I continued to heal, my husband's like, how do you deal with some of the things that come your way? I don't give it a lot of thought. It doesn't trigger me. It doesn't upset me. Like what people say about me, that's their business, not mine.
Yes. 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 One of my favorite quotes is, others people's opinion of you are none of your business.
And none of your business. And if we go through life with that, I think we'll be happier and we'll be better. Right now, we're doing a lot of struggling out in this world. I mean,
Hmm.
this is a very toxic time for all of us, and we just have to say to ourselves, you know what? It's none of my business. No
Yeah.
one can really control you, not the government, nor anyone else, unless you allow them to. We go through life. No one is coming to my house telling me that stopping me from achieving any of my dreams.
Right.
No one. And if they are, you're allowing someone to open the door, and that's your fault, not theirs.
Hmm. That's on period, as the kids say. That's on period.
It really is.
Yeah. And I do think that you have to be very cognizant of the fact that it's so easy to get fed into all of the noise and the distractions and all
Right.
of the chaos going around. And for me, I'm informed, but unless I can do something specifically to take action, I leave it be.
Yeah,
I know who I am, I know what I stand for, and I'm not going to let anyone, as you said, determine my joy, determine what I'm going for, determine who I love and who I spend my time with. So I
absolutely.
think that is so important for anybody feeling like they are overwhelmed by what's going on, is to remember that no one can take your joy away from you unless you let
Yeah,
them.
unless you let them. Tony Robbins said once, and I thought this was really interesting. He said scientifically, the body takes what 90 seconds to process any emotion. After that, it's all up to you
Mhm.
whether you want to stay there or not. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that because we can feel whatever we're going to feel, but it's up to us to process it and say, do I want this to ruin my day or do you want to stay in it? And I have to do that with my husband because he works a lot
Yeah.
and he affords me the opportunity to do my thing and be at home. And I say to him sometimes, please don't bring that work into the bedroom because honestly, this is something that could ruin my day as well.
Yeah.
And if you love me, you want to take care of me, this is a way to take care of me. Just don't bring it into our bedroom.
Yeah.
We're done. And the reason I say that is because he's right over there doing work in his office.
Well, Queen, this conversation has been amazing, and I think you and I need to do a part two. because I think we're just scratching the surface here. But I always end my episodes asking my guests this question. What is one thing that you do to make you feel fabulous?
Get flowers. That right there is just, the other day I got on my bike and my favorite flower shop actually moved closer to me. I got on my bike, and that's another thing I love to do is actually either roller skate my bike and I went and got flowers. I did. I went and got flowers. My house is always, if you come in my home, you'll always see flowers. It brings me so much joy.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
We need to treat ourselves. We need to
we
take care
really do.
of ourselves.
We really do because it's not expensive. You can go to Publix or Safeway,
Yeah.
Giant, and they're not expensive. Give yourself that beauty. Bring that beauty into your house.
Absolutely. And I will be listing all of your socials, your brand, your Instagram, everything, because everyone, you need to go follow this queen, follow her journey. She is truly an icon. Thank you so much, Queen, for being on the Fearless and Fabulous podcast. And thank you all for joining us. And please like, share, subscribe, do all the things because we want to get this message out to women that it is this okay to thrive no matter your age or size.
Absolutely.
Take care.